What is up, folks? Welcome back yet again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. Quick cold open. So the Mavs do beat the Miami Heat. I didn't intend for that to rhyme as hard as it did. It's actually the first win over the Heat since February of 2017, which if you're just getting used to the fact that it's 2021 now means that it's like a month and a half short of 4 years since we beat the Heat. And according to my man Dalton Trigg, we've only beaten the Heat 3 times now since the 2011 finals, which is ridiculous. But as I told him on Twitter, if we are only going to beat the Heat in the finals on a regular basis, then that's fine with me. Story of tonight's game, Dwight Powell very aggressive, pursuing the pumpkin, pursuing the pill. Dwight Powell pursuing the pumpkin all night. Pause. And you can't complain about that. Like you can't complain about effort. So there were several times where just putting in the effort, even if you didn't get the rebound, resulted in a foul or resulted in the other team fumbling the ball out of bounds or fumbling it into your teammate's hands. So again, put that effort in, results happen. So glad to see that Dwight Powell leading the charge there. Luka had a huge bounce back game. Again, basketball wise, not worried about Luka. He will play his way back into his playoff form. The only question for me with him is the mental aspect of the game, and we'll get into that later. And last thing I want to say in this cold open is that I got a message, or I got an email actually notifying me that the podcast is doing very well in Slovenia. I think third in number 3 among basketball podcasts. So I did some Google Translate, so bear with me. Hvala mojim slovenskim poslušalcem. And that's just between me and the Slovenian listeners. We'll take a quick break and then we'll get straight into the box scores. Hello and welcome back yet again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. I am your host, as always, Mike Bibbins, on Twitter at Bibbs Corner, and that's BIBS Corner in case you did not know. We're going to run through the box score really quick. Rick played a 10-man rotation, so no extra guys tonight. Should be pretty easy to get through this. So first of all, I always start with the person who played the most minutes and work my way down. Tim Hardaway Jr. played 38 minutes, 18 points, 2 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He was 6 for 18 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the line. Tim Hardaway Jr. never sees a shot he isn't ready to take. So it kind of is what it is when you're dealing with Tim. You have to take the good with the bad. So he hit some shots tonight, but he also missed a lot of shots. There was a stretch where it was him, I think Burke, Brunson, James Johnson, and somebody else. I can't think of who the fifth person was. Regardless, it was a tough lineup, and Brunson and THJ were basically just taking turns throwing up garbage. Let's see. Luka played the second most minutes. He played about 36. He had a huge game tonight. As I mentioned, 27 points, 15 boards, 7 assists, no steals, 1 block. He was 9 for 22 from the field. He did hit 3 threes, which is more than what he'd hit all season coming into the game. But he was 3 of 10 from 3, which is not what you want to see. 6 of 9 from the free throw line. Again, a little bit of a regression there. Not horrible, but not great either. And then he did have one of our offensive rebounds. Again, I'm trying to track the offensive rebounds to show effort. Who's putting in the effort on the glass, basically. Luka also had 5 turnovers, so 7 assists to 5 turnovers. Partially has to do with the fact that guys aren't hitting their shots right now, but also, again, Luka is not as sharp as we perhaps will want him to be long term. Speaking of the other guys who maybe missed some shots, Josh Richardson tonight, 11 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. He was 5 of 10 from the field, but 1 of 5 from 3. He did have one of our offensive rebounds as well. So Richardson, again, has not returned to his preseason form quite yet. Had the one good game, but we're still waiting to see if we can get that consistently from him. And he played 35 minutes. I'm not sure if I said that. Dwight Powell played the 4th most minutes of the starters. He played 28 minutes and 2 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals. He was 0 for 1, and it was a 3-point attempt that did not touch the rim. He was 2 for 4 from the free throw line as well. Again, put in a strong effort on the glass, which is the bare minimum we could ask of him. And Bam did not go at him as much as he probably should have, which obviously benefited us, or at least early in the game. Later in the game, he did start getting busy, but the damage was done by them. DFS was the last starter. He actually didn't play less minutes than Maxey, but he was the last starter. He played 22 minutes, 12 points, 5 boards. He was 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, which is 40%, which means he did what he was supposed to do, in my opinion. I think last year in the playoffs, I said if we can get him to hit 2 of 5 from 3 every game, then he's done his job, so I can't complain. He also had one of our offensive rebounds. Then finally, we do go to the bench. And Maxey played 27 and a half minutes off the bench. So basically, he was the 5th guy. 5 points, 4 boards, an assist, a steal, and he did put Tyler Hero on the MFing wall. 1 of 3 from the field. All of his attempts were threes. 2 for 2 from the line. And what I'm starting to realize with Maxey is that any team worth their salt is not going to let him shoot. Even in the last game, he got loose, hit 4 threes in the first half, and then didn't get another shot off in the second half because teams were not leaving him, or the Hornets were not leaving him open in that game. So Maxey needs to start expanding his game if he wants to remain a threat. Again, catch and shoot is cool, but if you can add just a little bit of something else to your game, a 1-dribble pull-up, for example, or a mid-range floater, because right now he's either trying to dunk on you or hit a 3. And when those options are taken away, when he's forced off the line and forced to put the ball on the floor, he doesn't have anything in the intermediate range quite yet. So if I'm one of the assistants, if I'm one of the coaches, I'm doing solo work with him on a pull-up mid-range free throw line type area jump shot. So anyway, I did apply for that position, actually, low-key. Insider knowledge there. Anyway, Trey Burke had 17 minutes played in this game. He 8 points, 3 boards, 2 for 5 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 4 for 4 from the line. Again, Burke doing what he's supposed to do as a smart plug off the bench. I enjoy him on the court. Jalen Brunson is a different story. 2 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 of 5 from the field. Again, hasn't seen a jump shot that he doesn't like. It's been a rough watch for him, and I noticed this game they actually did not play him without James Johnson, and that's because they want James Johnson to do more facilitating, because that is clearly not what Brunson is set up to do as an NBA player, apparently. So, let's see here. Speaking of Johnson, who again played those 12 minutes with Brunson, 8 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3. He finally... the team, I think, has finally accepted that Brunson is not getting it done as a point guard, especially that Brunson-Burke lineup. I believe in this game they had them play with DFS. They had them play with like 3 defensive guys when they were on the court, which is fine, but that was a rough stretch for us. Willie Cauley-Stein played 11 minutes off the bench. He was the last guy to get in. He did pull down 3 boards. 0 for 1 on his only real shot attempt, which was a missed dunk, which looked like he got fouled to me, but that's whatever. Not super active. He did have an offensive rebound. And again, if Dwight Powell's going to hustle hard on the glass, then it's whatever. as far as the Willie Cauley-Stein, Dwight Powell situation. What else do we have? Let's move forward to our other segments. I'm trying to keep this pretty tight. So, player of the game tonight. I mentioned on the last pod that I'm only going to give this to Luka when he is exceptional, and he was exceptional tonight. Like I said, he hit the 3 threes, which I think he only had 2 coming into the game. He was getting into the lane and scoring in the lane this time, which I felt previously he was doing way too much passing. Huge rebounding night as well, 15 boards. It was an ugly game early, and instead of sitting back and trying to let everybody shoot their way into it, Luka did step up and try to take over in this one. So, again, that's what we want from him. I was glad to see it. The tweet of the night comes from Clay Cuban, and that's Clay Cuban with a K. Clay with a K and Cuban with a K. The Mavs can't be bad in the clutch time if all the games are blowouts. And it's the African guy with the pointing at the temple, GIF. And yeah, blowout wins and blowout losses. The Heat did make this one a little bit interesting late, but the Mavs had too big of a lead to overcome and close it out. I'll take it. I'm not gonna complain about how it played out, but that tweet from Clay came during when we had the big lead, and it was hilarious when I saw it. Did not take any questions tonight. I'm kind of holding off on that right now. I don't know if you noticed, but there are no ads on this podcast, so I'm not putting in that extra bit of effort to spend 30 minutes on here answering questions. I will get back to that at a later date, so stay tuned. My final parting thought of the night comes back to Luka and the complaining to the refs. So at the end of the half tonight, Luka got an open court run at the rim. He went up for the layup. He got fouled. Still should have been able to make the layup, but did not. And again, there's no fans in the arena, so you can hear everything on the court, and you hear him yelling at the ref for not calling the foul, which again, I know he was fouled. He was very obviously fouled. It was a bad no call, but the demonstrative, the way he was yelling, I was not positive. Not positive. It was not something that the refs were going to be able to let go, basically. And so they tee him up. The Heat get a free point there after the buzzer has sounded for the half. And, it could have been a momentum type thing. Could have lingered with us. The refs remained bad the rest of the game, which they had already been bad up to that point. They were they messed the Heat up a couple times too. They were just very inconsistent overall. Just a bad experience in my opinion for everybody. But again, Luka has to pick his battles. In that situation, I understand wanting to say something, acknowledge it, but how you do it is, again, more flies with honey. I'm not saying you have to be happy, but the approach, I believe, is not helping you get calls later. They may call the obvious ones later, but they're not going to give you the borderline ones if they feel like you're trying to show them up. In my opinion, somebody needs to intervene there and be a little bit more proactive in helping Luka out in that situation, so it's not on him. He's a very emotional guy. I just don't want him to become DeMarcus Cousins, getting texts every game yelling at the refs. And I guess that's really all I have to say on that for now. I will catch you guys next game. Let me check my schedule. Looks like we have back-to-backs on a 3rd and 4th. The 3rd, we play the Bulls. The 4th, we play the Rockets. You will get a recap after each game because I'm committed to that. I am committed to you like we said I do. And I'll catch you then. Peace.